special rendition of Behind the Light. And this is because this time I put Kathy literally in front of a light and we're going to talk to her. So Kathy is here. She's actually got a lidocaine injection on her upper lip. So she'll be able to chit chat with us with ease while we're working in this area. But Kathy, I wanted to give you time today to tell us a little bit about yourself, because I've gotten to know you, but so many people need to know the joys of living your truth and how long you've gotten to live your truth. So tell us,
Well, I began when I was about 8 years old. I knew that I wasn't totally into the program of being a boy. There was a house nearby that burned up when I was a kid. And I was able to get the little girl's clothing out of it and some Mary Jane shoes. And then I slowly worked my way into going to John Galvin Park in Ontario on the weekends and being a little girl and meeting other girls. And that was like a happy time. Later on, as I got older, I discovered the Salvation and Goodwill thrift stores. And kind of grew up with those types of clothing and footwear. And then later on, it became harder to do because there weren't really people that I could trust. So I was always afraid they'd discover I wasn't a real girl. Then finally, 1965 came up and the Vietnam War was moving into full speed, and I knew I was going to be drafted. So I enlisted in early 65, took my basic at Fort Polk, Louisiana, went through infantry school at Fort Benning, paratrooper school at Fort Benning. And then instead of going overseas like I thought I would, they ended up sending me to a nuke base. And I worked at the nuke base in security. I couldn't be a girl because I lived in a barracks. So it was pretty desolate. And then in December, or was it November? No, it was in just December of 65. The Battle of the Ia Drang Valley took place, which was the first enormous battle with the North Vietnamese Army. And President Johnson levied us, that's a military term for conscription, from out of your unit to another unit, to be a replacement for the 1st Cavalry Division in An Cay, Vietnam. And then when I got to An Cay, they discovered, as they looked through the orders and things, that I was airborne, so they sent me to the 101st Airborne. And my life as a girl just came to a screeching halt. I felt like I was a girl wearing men's fatigues, engaging in combat.
So you got to live as a girl up until your military service.
Yeah, on and off. I had to hide it because back then, God, I would have gotten beaten up. Because my parents would have, I don't know, they would have freaked out.
And then, I mean, you served your time in the military. How many years did you serve in the military?
9.5 years.
Wow. And most of that time was over in Vietnam?
No, I did two tours. After my first tour in Vietnam, and I came home, I was stationed initially as a training unit at Fort Ord, California, near Monterey. And I got to live as a girl a little bit there because of my rank. I lived off post, but unfortunately I was married, so it was really difficult.
Oh, yeah.
But my wife was the same size as me. We were both size 9s, and shoe size was 8.5 or 8B. So things worked out pretty well when I could do it, when she would leave to go visit her parents in Santa Cruz, which was north of Fort Ord. She'd be gone for a few days. And then I received orders to go to Brussels, Belgium, and NATO headquarters. And then a warrant officer was trans-friendly, and I got to live as a gal a little bit in Germany and all the TDY places that I went to from Brussels.
Oh, wow. What year was this?
That was like in 1969.
Wow, so you had a trans-friendly officer allowing you to live part-time as yourself.
Yeah, I mean, he was really cool, and I was with NATO for about a year and a half, and this warrant officer came up and says, he called me Kathy when nobody was around. He goes, Kathy, I don't know how you're going to feel about this, but we just got orders sending you back to the infantry in Vietnam.
Oh.
You're going to the 173rd Airborne. And I said, okay, because I was very unhappily married, and I didn't have my wife come to Europe, which she could have, but I lied and said she couldn't come.
Gotcha. Put the distance there.
So after my second tour, I was actually kind of mentally defective then. I was both in the infantry and a helicopter door gunner. Got shot down twice.
Oh, wow.
Was missing in action when two of us survived being shot down and were eluding the North Vietnamese army. And then finally, that year was over, and I went to Fort Bragg and assigned to the 82nd Airborne. And that's when I got to live as a girl a little bit again, because in my rank I lived off post. So I had all my girl clothes and shoes and accessories, and when I didn't have duty, I got to be Kathy.
And how much longer were you in the military at that point?
I think I had 2 more years that I did at Fort Bragg. And then when the Yom Kippur War broke out in Israel, we had what they called stop loss, and we couldn't leave the army because it was my time. But once the Israeli army started kicking butt on Egypt and Syria, they let us out that were supposed to get out, because I wasn't going to re-enlist again. And then, literally weeks later, I was living as a girl.
Wow.
And
so
this time
ever
full time.
Wow. So you have lived your life full-time, Kathy, as yourself since what year now?
Well, let's see, 8 years old. I was born in 1946, so that's the math problem.
So if anybody wants to do some math while they're listening to us, they can. Wow. I mean, when I talk to you, and like I've gotten the opportunity to work on people of all ages and backgrounds, but I do think it's quite amazing for you because, you know, even talking back to 1960s, 1970s, you had people in your life that were allowing you to be yourself, be authentic. And you've basically been able to continue going through life for the majority of your life as a girl, as Kathy.
A good part of it, I opened up a business when I got out of prison because I couldn't be a girl at all in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And I sucked it up, as they say, had to put up with it until I got released.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was back to being a girl again. And this time, didn't have to look back.
Yeah. And then, I mean, you've had like process on and off over the years. But this time you're like, I'm not stopping for no love or money. We're getting rid of this hair. And now we we've been doing like appointments for you, you know, every 2 weeks for the last 6 months.
Yes.
and significantly reducing whatever facial hair you do have left. But are you happy that even now in your mature age that you're going after electrolysis now? I'm sure you would have liked to have had it done sooner.
Well, I tried electrolysis after I had failed laserology.
Oh yeah. Well,
And
you have such fair hair.
Yeah, and I had a severe burning. Didn't go well. And the electrolysis, I guess that's how you say it, yeah.
Yeah, me.
She was very inexperienced and it didn't work out well. And so I returned back to electrolysis here in Arizona. And the good news was Dr. Metzger's office recommended.
Oh, that's right. You got your referral from Dr. Meltzer's office. That's awesome.
That's where the referral came from. And I was really nervous because Dr. Metzger said I still had some hair on the surface of my scrotum, which was necessary to make the vaginal canal, and couldn't have hair there. And I'm going, oh wow, this would be embarrassing. So when I came here and I met Steph, I couldn't believe how easy and pro-trans she was, and she cleared that hair out of there, and been doing my face ever since, and it's been fantastic.
You have been a light in my life for sure. And basically, whenever Kathy comes into the office, there's not a soul in this office that isn't impacted by your light. You are just, you have lived a very full and crazy, awesome life. And I think that has shaped you into an individual that basically wherever you go, you want people to know that, you're there to, give them a smile. Let them know that life is good. So I definitely appreciate that about you.
Oh, thank you. I am really happy fulfilling what I knew I was supposed to be since the beginning. And now I don't have to shave. That's the best part.
Oh yeah, we have made major progress on these follicles for sure.
Yes, we have.
As I over here kicking the camera.
I need to go like this?
Actually, we're going to turn slightly to the other side.
Okay. You arrange my head any way you want.
Bend me, shape me any way you want me. So Kathy and I listen to music and we talk about life, and it's just, that's the opportunity that we have as an electrologist, is like we get to meet people and they make us better. And Kathy is one of those people that has made me better, because she has taught me resilience in the face of adversity and persistence in going after something even when everybody else is like, what? You're going to get electrolysis now? She is happy and here. So I appreciate that, sweetie. You're teaching me even after all these years of me zapping.
You've also been somebody I could talk to. I don't get to share about my past hardly at all, because there are just those people that, for lack of a better word, that just figures that we are not normal people, and
No, you are beyond normal.
And tend to ostracize people like me, which is okay. Doesn't bother me.
Not here. Here we talk.
No, this has been the most user-friendly place I've ever been.
Oh, thank you so much, sweetie. Well, in a moment here, I'm going to stop this camera, but thank you guys for tuning in and watching us and listening to Kathy's story, because I know that her story, it helps me, but I feel like somebody else will be able to hear this and know that, it doesn't matter whether you're born in 1986 or 1946, go after your goals. And if your goals require, difficult treatments like electrolysis or surgeries, it's just a stepping stone in life, because in the grand scheme of it all, there's a much bigger story. So thank you, Kathy.
You're most welcome.
All right, sweetie, let me pause this camera.